Hey everybody, it's Allie Edwards and welcome back to my table for December Daily 2025. This is story number 5. Yesterday I worked on the back of one of my die cut circle pages, and today I decided that I wanted to do a full page photo, and I have a few different thoughts and ideas here that I want to share with you. So this will go in here just like this. You can see that right now it has 3 different versions of a bokeh tree that I was just playing around with on my phone camera downstairs using the Pro camera app is what I was playing around with, where you can actually just you can mess around with the manual settings to give you an even blurrier picture. So I just have three images of the same tree. It's about 3.6 inches wide across the page here. I still need to trim the top and the bottom. You'll also notice that I went ahead and I actually did my journaling directly onto the photo, made a text box here and did it in white. It's about 10 inches long, and it looks like about 1.75 inches tall. I didn't necessarily measure that, but my idea here was by putting this already on the photo, I could create a flip up by just cutting a slit right across here with my X-Acto knife and then tucking in a folded either piece of cardstock or pattern paper or something. And that's part of what we are going to talk about as we figure out what is what I'm actually going to do with this page. So initially what I'm thinking about is doing some sort of a flip up with a pattern paper. So taking a piece of pattern paper, folding it in half, part of it will tuck under and then part of it will become the flip up. I could use magnets again here. Actually, I should pull those out because I really liked using those before as a way to keep it down. And a couple other things that I am thinking about with this. Pattern papers I pulled out included this one, and this one. But I also then was thinking, I got some ribbon. My sweet friend sent me some ribbon here, and one of the pieces is almost exactly that width, that 1.75 or 2.75. Let's measure it again. I think it's 1.75. But this could go over, this could be my flip up right here. And then I'm thinking, okay, so I could have, I could still have a pattern paper underneath here. So maybe it would be this white one. This is where I kind of need to decide what color do I want on the inside. Do I want bright? Do I want, what kind of goes with this guy here? I mean, kind of either one. This is a spot where you could pick whatever you wanted in terms of, what would be the flip up for you yourself. So I'm going to play around with that idea, and I want to use a pattern paper underneath too. So that's part of what we're going to do. The other thing that I wanted to play with was I really like the idea of taking some of these pieces from the main kit, these little guys. I've been using them already because I really like them. They just seem fun. But doing something like this that will also be connected to the flip up, so this is part of what lifts up, would be something like this, and then maybe putting my number 5 right here. And in terms of number 5s, lots of different things you could use, right? You could use the green plastic numbers. You could use the number 5 like that. I was considering diving into, this is my number box, or one of my number boxes. I actually have 2 where I've kept number 5s over the years. So I have some that are like, that's a fabric one. That's kind of the one I think that I probably want to use. I really like how that looks, but I've got a few other versions. I have like a skinnier one if I wanted to do like a 0 and a 5. Sometimes I'd like to have zeros in front. I think I saw a fabric 0 one here. That looks like this. That actually probably goes with the other one. But that's that's a vibe or a style that I like there. I'm just going to see what other zeros I had. Ooh, I have a skinnier 0 too. So I could do like a skinny 0 and a fat 5, or I could do the skinny 0 and the fat. I just like putting the O in front. So I can decide as I go along. I could also do the big 05 there. I could do this Anyway, this is where I'm heading today. And I'll pick out one of these as we go along. That one might be the one that I like this time, but we'll figure that out. Okay, so the first step then here with this particular one is going to be to cut the slit and cut up some pattern paper that I can use to back my ribbon on top of. This ribbon, Jill Broadbent sent me this ribbon just because she's a nice person. She actually sent me a whole box or whole fun bag of different ribbons and trims that she got from her daughter. So they were super cute. Super cute, super cute. Okay, so I think that I just want to have this on the inside. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this to be my flip up, because what I can do is that this part will be on the inside and then this part can go just get adhered to the outside. So let's get out my trimmer. And so I love printing here at home. This is one of the things that I do regularly. I have an Epson XP 15,000 printer that does the vast majority of any of my oversized prints like this. I love being able to print at home, being able to print whatever sizes I want. Like that's a big thing for me personally. The custom part of it makes the creativity part that much more fun for me. Okay, so 10 inches wide. So let's go ahead. We're just going to trim this whole one down. Actually, let's go ahead and do, what did I say? It was about 2. So if I did 1.7, let's just do a 4. Actually. I can trim it down here too. Now remember, for me, I want this on the inside. So 2 is going to be too big, but I want to see, let's do 10 inches. Because what I want is that I want this part to flip up and this part is going to be tucked underneath. Let's go ahead and just see how that's going to happen here. So I am using the text box there essentially as a guide to create my flip up. You could also do the same kind of thing where you're like making a window with your on top of your photo, and then you could cut it out to have a window within your photo. That's something else you can do. That was actually one of the original things I was thinking about, was just cutting it out and then having the journaling like sit behind it, or have a little shaker portion on top of there. I mean, that's something else that would actually be really fun too. Okay, so I want this. This is how I'm kind of thinking about this. Okay, this is going to need to be trimmed a little bit more, or let's give me a little more space on there. Go a little bit out. Okay, so what that did then is it gave me a flip up, right? Without having to do really anything else. And then I can just take this and put this on top. And I'm going to trim this a little bit because it's going over. .75 is what I said before. So let's go ahead and just give that a little bit of Okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm adding on the adhesive that is going to both hold my ribbon in place as well as hold my little collection of these guys in place. But I think what I'm going to do is adhere them first. Adhere those little banners together first, just so that we can make sure that they are in the right spot. I like how that has the pattern underneath there. Remember, you can use whatever paper, whatever pattern paper you want, whatever ribbon you want. I'm just going to end up using that one. Okay, so this is what I was doing here. Okay. So I'm just relaying them back down. I'm doing either 3 or 5. I'm deciding to do 5 of them, which I actually like because then that goes with story number 5 there. I'm actually just going to use a little bit of washi tape on the back. So my story today is really about 2 things. One, it's about Erin and I talking about how we really want to just sit and be in our living room and let ourselves just kind of sink in. And the other part about my journaling for today is really about is I decided yesterday that whatever I've put out for my holiday decorations so far, that's enough. Whatever I've done so far is enough, is basically what I'm deciding. So that means I'm going to put the boxes away. I'm going to put them back into the attic so that I can actually just like enjoy the decorations rather than feeling like I have to keep putting up more decorations and like fussing around with it. I just want it to be done so that I can just enjoy it. So I wrote, let it be enough, let it be enough, let it be enough. So that is really kind of, I think that's going to be my title for my story today. Actually, let's get that out. Forced bulbs. This is going to be, I'm going to do it right now. It's going to just say, let it be enough. Okay, so I taped this on the back just so I could have that whole little piece together. Actually, you know what I might do? I think I'm going to just put that all over the back. That will make it end up almost being like it's a pattern, right? So when it flips all the way up, let's do that. Actually, maybe the red one would look better on there. Let's see. That might be too much red, huh? Well, let's see. So I had done that way, but now I'm deciding that I want to just cover it and then we'll trim off the extra. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and use one of the washi tapes here to just put it all over the back. My initial idea was that I was essentially creating a pattern on here, so I'm trying to vary the placement of the red stripes on this washi tape. I am going to end up covering this up actually with a tag from the vintage tag set. It has a tree on it, and you'll see that as we go along here. But I end up leaving the washi tape on the back of it. Right now I'm just going to trim off the extra pieces there around the bottoms of the banners. I use my scissors, but I also end up using my craft knife or X-Acto knife. That seemed to work a little bit better, and that will also be the case when I end up covering that with a tag. You know, the times when I do things like this where I do one thing and then I actually end up covering it up with something else doesn't mean that the first idea wasn't a completely fine idea. It just means that I changed my mind for one reason or another. And you'll see as we go along here partly why I ended up doing that. All right. So I've got my 5 little banners all connected to each other. And as I'm looking at it here and trying to decide how I want to adhere them, I end up running the top edge of that through the sewing machine. But before I do that, I actually cut a little piece of plastic, because what that piece of plastic is going to let me do is attach this to there you go. Well, you can see the stitching. I went ahead and stitched that on there, but that was less about the attachment. So the attachment is going to be able to sit right on top, so I can kind of have it edge to edge. So the top edge of these banners can have a spot. So it's actually going to end up going right onto that red line tape. I'm going to finish up adding a little bit more red line tape so that this is where the ribbon is going to get attached on there. Again, this is also a place you could do pattern paper. You could do strips of washi tape on the outside of here. You could do another photo. There's all kinds of different things that you could do in this space. So I'm going to start pulling up some of this double-sided adhesive, and then I'm going to take the plastic, the little piece of craft plastic that I stitched onto my banners, and now that is able to sit right on top of the double-sided tape, or the red line tape. I'm also pulling out some of the little magnets that I have, and I'm going to use red line tape to place a magnet on the outside edges. If I was doing this again, I would also put one in the middle, or maybe right underneath or right by where the those banners are all together. It still works just fine having them at the outer edges, but there's a little bit of bowing at the end when I didn't put another magnet in the middle. So just something to think about. You can decide what you want to do. Still closes just fine. So I'm putting in the magnets on the outside, and then I will also be adding magnets to the back side. These again are just adhered on there with the red line tape. And then my ribbon piece is going to just go over the top of that. I'm putting a little extra rolling adhesive on there as well. I'm going to start at one end and lay it down. One of the things that I really liked about this ribbon, and I think I might have said it before, is that I really liked the frayed edge portion of it. I don't have a specific source for this particular ribbon, but it was fun. It was fun. And the other ribbon that I have from May Arts, like the really big thick ribbon, that might fit right on there as well if you happen to have some of that in your stash. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm using rolling adhesive underneath here. I'm going to put the magnets on the back side there, and you'll see that in just a second. Essentially what I end up doing is just feeling with my fingers and figuring out where the magnet is right now, and putting another little piece of double-sided tape. Once you hold the magnet over the top, the magnet is going to jump into the right spot to magnetize the magnet on the other side, or connect with the magnet on the other side. So this whole page right here will end up getting covered by a photo or a pattern paper with my next story. So whatever story number 6 is. So I'm grabbing some of these fabric numbers. These were from an old add-on a couple years ago, maybe 2022, 2023. You might have some in your number stash. They're good ones. They're good ones. I would like to have more of these. They would be fun to have in different colors too. So I'm putting the O and the 5 on there. Again, this would be a good place for like a plastic number 5, or some other 5 from your stash. But here's where I was like, okay, I don't really love the red underneath. I kind of wanted it to be a little more neutral under the banner. So this is where I'm looking at this particular tag. Again, this is from the vintage tag set. It had some vellum pieces, and then it had some tags included in it. I'm going to just adhere it right on top of the washi tape that I did on the banners, and I'm going to recut all of that out again, using my scissors a little bit, but also mainly just using my X-Acto knife to cut all of that out. My cutting of this part of it is, I would say, imperfect. So there's a few spots where you can kind of see the white, even once I get it all cut out, and I just decided it was good enough. Good enough, because that's part of my whole message to myself today, was let it be enough. But I love this idea. I love the idea of gathering up some of those banners. You could also take word phrase stickers and turn them into banners. If you don't have the main kit this year, some different word phrase stickers that we've had in the past would really lend themselves well to that. So I have then what kind of looks like a tree a little bit with a tree. And then from the advent calendar, there were some puffy star stickers. So I'm adding that in or on top of my little tree. And then I have one of the labels. This is from one of the die cut packs this year. And I went ahead and printed Let It Be Enough on sticker paper. And that's what I'm getting ready to pull off. And then that is going to be essentially like a little title that will go near the tree, actually just like vertically underneath the tree. You'll see here in a second. I'm going to cut off the excess around there. That was a big piece of sticker paper, a big extra piece of sticker paper, but it was what I was able to grab. So I'm going to end up placing it right about there, just a little bit above the seam. And I really like how this one turned out. I think it was fun. It was a fun way to play around with a different idea related to the journaling block, and actually printing that on the photo first. That was something different. I feel like I haven't done before in the way that I cut that slit and then placed it underneath. I'm going to go ahead and punch the holes now into this full page photo page, and then get ready for the next story tomorrow. So we'll see you guys back here again tomorrow. Super happy to just be adding that in. And I think I'll probably do the In This Season page tomorrow with a full page photo that I think I have picked out already. I love the In the Season invitation, so I'm going to think about that today. There you go. All right, we'll see you guys back here soon.